Hello, we are going to look at macro drawing and plant studies with this exercise. So that's just giving you a nice, that's the foxglove that we're going to be working on. We can use anything really, plants, leaves, pine cones, any kind of flora that you can get your hands on. Could even be plants in your house or flowers that you've got from the supermarket. And it's a really great observational exercise you can do inside or outside. But if you can get outside, if that's an option, it's great to get out and just kind of get things down in the field if you can. And yeah, if you've got really interesting, beautiful objects to work from as well, like these nice lilies and foxgloves, it enhances the experience. It makes it a more pleasurable experience if you're working from something that's really beautiful. So let me see if I can get my fern in the right place. Here we go. So, macro drawing and plant studies. Great for when you only have a short burst of time, because this is something that you can start and you can pick up and come back to it. You know, and if you need to unwind, it's a great little thing that you can keep working on. And the materials for this one, I'm going to use a HB and a 6B pencil. So the HB is great for loose sketching, getting lots of tonal detail with the 6B. And sorry, I'll repeat that. So the HB is great for doing all the sketching out, and the 6B is great for getting a lot of the tonal detail in. Tonal being shade, the lights and the darks. We're going to go for using quite a lot of light lines, loose light lines, to construct the object that you're looking at and build it up in layers, and then we'll go for the detail and the tone. I think this way of drawing is, I don't know, maybe it doesn't suit everybody, but trying to draw a plant or something like that, and then, you know, you're just focusing on one tiny part of it, and you're trying to build the whole plant up from all of that, is almost like a mission impossible. So it's much better. I'm going to start to put a couple more of the heads in, and how I've done this is I've used ellipses and triangles. So these triangles, depending on which angle you're looking at, the foxglove can be that way around or the other way around, like I've done on here. So this particular one I'm doing at the moment is kind of sitting this way around. Really, really nice objects to draw foxgloves. The camera is wobbling a little bit because of the wind. I hope that's not too off-putting. And yeah, I should speak about pencil holds really, because typically that's the way that people hold a pencil, and especially very close to the end. So that's not actually, if you go back to the old masters and you know how I was trained to draw, you weren't trained to hold a pencil like that. It was more like this, and that's called the drumstick hold. And it makes it a lot looser. It makes it so that you can move your wrists and you can move your fingers more. You can move your elbow. When you hold something like this, you're very restricted, and you tend to draw very small and tons of tiny bits of detail. And if you make a mistake, it stands out because you've got such a small concentration of drawing. So try holding the pencil further back and keep things nice and loose, and use the edge of the pencil as well instead of the point. So I've got this one sorted out here. So once you've kind of built up a really nice area, so a little triangle sitting in there, just fill the double page, you know, and just keep practicing and practicing. If you've got the same kind of flower like a foxglove, you can keep going over the same things over and over again until you feel you're getting confident with it. So once you've built up the sketch and kind of got, you know, a big area, then we're going to focus on one area and kind of get really lost in the detail of it, and focus just on a very small part of the plant, which is what I've done here. And now I am on my 6B, and the 6B is nice because it's just has that little bit of a darker shade to it. Foxgloves are very delicate and lots of delicate tones, so you can build it up. You don't have to go straight in with like really dark tones. I mean, if you hardly put any pressure on, you've got tiny increments of tone that you can build up. And you've got all of these other shapes sitting around, just practice on them, you know. So it takes a lot of practice really to get a perfect representational drawing, and I think that's one of the things that puts a lot of people off. And years of practice sometimes to get things to look photographic. If you'd want things to look photographic, we're not after that. We're after, that's the song thrush keeping us company, we're after observational sketches again, and then we're just going to focus in on getting detail. And in that point of focusing in on detail, we are not really worrying too much about the rest of the drawing and about it all looking perfect and to scale. So yeah, when you get to your area of detail, maybe get the end of your pencil a little bit sharper as well, and you can either do that by using a pencil sharpener, or you can get a little bit of sandpaper. Sandpaper is a bit more economical because you can just keep sharpening the edge of the pencil without taking loads of shavings off the wood all the time. So I've just done this in advance, and I've not actually completely copied this area of circles here. I've looked at the foxglove and I've represented roughly what they look like. If you're going to try and end up drawing minute tiny little bits of detail like that really accurately, you're going to end up getting a little bit jaded, I think. So the focus is more about just concentrating some nice detail in one area rather than it being a perfect representation. So be bold, don't rub out any lines. I would keep any rubbers or erasers locked away in a drawer somewhere, and yeah, enjoy those mistakes, enjoy those lines that are kind of sitting slightly in the wrong place. And what we're really after is a solid area of detail inside part of quite a big, really rough sketch. And I suppose the thing about it is, once you have got it drawn out and you are fairly confident with where things are sitting, you can really just get lost in getting all of these nice areas shaded in, getting all of this tone to sit where it should sit. Don't forget to keep looking at this point though. Just because you've got everything drawn in doesn't mean that that job's finished. You still will need to look at those tones. You'll need to see where your light source is coming from. So at the moment the sun's sitting on the right hand side, so it's just coming through the clouds and sitting on this side of the plant. So this side's always going to be darker if it's away from the sun. Just things like that, just things to think about. And yeah, a good artist to look at if you really get taken with this style of drawing is a guy called Albrecht Dürer, and he was a German artist around in the 16th century. Very famous artist, quite a groundbreaking artist at the time, but he did do a lot of incomplete studies of nature and wildlife. He was kind of one of the first people outside of the monks using flowers and fauna to illustrate their books. He was one of the first artists to use it and just use parts of it in paintings. He had a lot of quite incomplete studies, so he's a good guy to look at. So hope that's shed a little bit of light, and yeah, enjoy your close-up macro drawing and your sketching out. Thanks guys.